welcome back for part 3 of a week in the life of running a mouse ear small shop. I'll link to parts 1 and 2 in the description if you happen to miss those videos. But we have now entered into week 3 of finishing up all these ear orders. There's currently 19 ears that I fully finished up, minus the bows. I have 6 more ears that just need a little decoration added to them and then they'll be done. But given that I have orders for 46 total ears, that means there's still quite a ways to go. I have 3 pairs of Rice Krispie ears to make up. Yesterday I got all of the fabric components for them fully assembled, so they will then be ready to be sewn. I have lollipop ears that I do have to get rolled out. However, there are 2 pairs of ears that I have had pre-rolled, so that'll make things a little bit easier. And then there's about 12 total beignets that I have to make. So I'm gonna get started probably on these 6 ears that just need like sprinkles and extra decoration added to them. That way there's like nothing left lingering in progress. And then we can jump on into making all those ears we haven't started with and getting all those beignets ready. So I've made some pretty good progress with the ears. Well, I guess by good progress, I mean finishing up those 3 other ears. But these are all the ears that involve like hand placing individual sprinkles. So those are all done. It's good that I was able to get through all of these because this is all of the rainbow sprinkles that I have left. As you can see, I very nearly ran out of the blue color, but I just made it. So for next batches, I'll have to make up a lot of sprinkles, but they do last a long time. These other donut ears, they just get additions around the rim, so that's kind of easier than hand placing. I'm kind of particular in the aesthetic in that I make sure that there aren't 2 of the same colored sprinkles next to each other. I try to make it as like visually diverse as I can. So it takes a little bit more time, but I like how they end up looking. So I'm gonna get these final 3 donuts finished up, and it's getting close-ish to dinner time. I mean, we're still a little while away, but I feel like maybe I might roll out some lollipops tonight. That would be good to do because they do take like at least 3 days to dry, and then there's like multiple more steps after that. I didn't film anything yesterday. I mainly just wanted a day off from having to like worry about documenting things, but that didn't mean that I didn't get anything done. Last night I was able to roll out all of the lollipop ears that I needed. I actually was able to also roll out some extras. I did a number of the rainbow lollipops, pink and purple lollipops, and candy cane lollipops. In addition to those, I already had a set of candy cane and Halloween lollipops. Those were extras from previous batches. So I could go ahead and glue those onto their headbands now, but those fresh lollipops need at least 72 hours to fully dry. So it'll still be another day or 2 before I can actually put those onto their headbands. But it's good that I also got a few extras rolled out because then I can save those for the next orders. My cart with the fully finished ears is starting to fill up. I think right now I have 25 ears that are all done and ready. But in addition to the 46 pairs of ears I'm making, I am going to make 1 more pair of ear because I want to do another video in my designer versus DIY of doing DIY versions of the Disney Parks designer ears. Because yesterday on May the 4th, they released these Ahsoka Tano ears, and immediately they were reselling on eBay for $400. And I'm like, I can DIY those for like $5. I have all the supplies needed on hand except for some orange fabric, so I found like a super cheap like orange tablecloth on Amazon that should be coming in tomorrow. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit of work on that DIY over lunch today because once I get bitten by like the DIY bug of like, some new creative idea, like I just have to enact it and do it immediately. And I also want to have a pretty quick turnaround with that video since the ears were just released. But I'm still doing really good in terms of timing for finishing up all my ear orders. I feel like I've talked about in so many previous video clips about like getting the Rice Krispie ears ready and like, yeah, I'm gonna sew those up. The fabric is all prepped and ready, they just need to be sewn, so hopefully early evening tonight I will actually do those. And then tonight I can either go ahead and like finish those up and sew them onto the headbands, or I can trace out and cut out all of the beignet ears I need, because I can't do anything more with the lollipops right now, so really it's just those like 3 Rice Krispies and tackling those 12 beignets that are left. So I guess we'll see you later today what I was able to accomplish. So I spent the early evening working on these Ahsoka designer ears, and I'm so obsessed with how they're turning out. When I get in this DIY mood, it's like I have to work on it. But this DIY video will definitely already be out on my channel by the time this video comes out. The only thing I didn't have for these ears that I needed was orange fabric for the bow, and that should be coming in about tomorrow from Amazon. So this will have been just a little brief side project. But we just finished dinner, so now I'm gonna take down all the fabric for the beignet ears and get those drawn and traced out. There's gonna have to be like 24 total for the 12 pairs of ears. And then eventually after that, we'll be able to move on to sewing some things up. In addition to getting all of the beignet fabric prepped, guess what I finally did last night? Sew together the Rice Krispie ears. It'd be funny to count how many previous clips I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably gonna sew together the Rice Krispie treats now. Well, it finally happened. So getting these Rice Krispies stuffed and sewn onto the ears will probably be the project for today. 2 pairs are just the chocolate and sprinkle ones, and then 1 pair is a donut Rice Krispie. So these are both going to require some fabric paint on them, but I at least would like to get these assembled onto the headbands today. These are the 2 lollipop ears that I've had ready and dried for a while, so I'll probably get these glued onto their headbands. But it's still going to be another day or so before the ones I freshly rolled out will be ready to put on the headbands. Those require a protective glaze, and then once that's dry, they all get a hard resin coat on them. I'm only going to mix that resin once, so I have to wait until all of the lollipops are totally ready for that. That's definitely a more time-intensive process, so I'm probably going to wait until Saturday to do that. But in some good news, the students are taking their final exam today. So today and tomorrow will probably be the last grading that I need to do. And then all TAing stuff will be totally wrapped up for this school year. If I do get anything done over lunch today, I'll check in with that, but then otherwise I'll probably give an update sometime this evening. Took me long enough to finally get through these, but this evening I fully finished and assembled the 3 pairs of Rice Krispie ears. So tomorrow I'm definitely going to add the fabric paint on them. This back one is the donut Rice Krispies, so that requires a little bit more decoration. Given drying time, I don't know if these will actually be finished up tomorrow, but I'm at least gonna get them on the pathway there. And then hopefully over lunch tomorrow, you can see this big stack of fabric for the beignet ears. I'll want to get kind of as many of those sewn tomorrow as I can, because then I have to sew them all together and attach them all to the headbands. But it is bedtime now, so we'll leave this here for the evening. It's Thursday now, and it's already quite late in the afternoon. New progress has mainly involved these Ahsoka ears. Yesterday and today I got the little headpiece portion finished up, and then I got the orange fabric in for the bow yesterday, and I'm still trying to work out getting the bow right and getting a good pattern for that. So this is the fun, shiny new project, and that has kind of captured my attention. But now for this evening, we're gonna return back to the full ear orders. My lollipops are now all dried out, so I can get these all glued onto their headbands. What would be good tonight is to get the protective Model Magic glaze on them. That helps to preserve their color, and then they will be set for resining probably on Saturday. And then before dinner right now, I will add the chocolate onto at least 2 of those Rice Krispie ears. I'm probably gonna save the 3rd one for later because it's more detailed and involves mixing a little paint. I did not get to any of the beignets earlier today or over lunch. I probably also won't get to them this evening because my sewing machine is up here in the office. But in the evenings, I like to do all my work downstairs, so that way my boyfriend and I can spend time together and watch some TV. So I'll typically bring things down with me that are more portable, and the sewing machine is not really one of them. But today I got the first of my AliExpress orders in, and this is a pretty big heavy package, and it has 200 plastic headbands in it. So I will be set for quite a while with those. As you might be able to guess from the progress so far this week, this part 3 is going to extend longer than a week, and each day is probably going to have shorter, smaller clips than in previous parts. because it's gonna take like at least 2 days to get all of the bow fabric cut and assemble all those bows. And then even just normally, it typically will take like a full day to package up all the orders. So we'll see how long that takes, but I will take this video through the whole entire wrap-up process. We have made it on to Friday. Earlier this morning, if you can kind of see in the background, I got another coat of the chocolate fabric paint on the Rice Krispie ears, and I added on the nonpareil sprinkles. Those should just about be dry, so they just need a sealant on them, and that will be 2 more ears that are done. You can also see the lollipops that I have up there. Those are just assembled and they have a sealant on them, but they still need the resin, which, like I've said, I'm planning to do on Saturday or Sunday. I still have that one lone donut Rice Krispie ear that I need to work on. But over lunch today, I really want to finish up my DIY for the Ahsoka Tano designer ears. It took me forever to create a good bow template, but I think I'm finally there. So I really want to get that finished up, although, like I've said, by the time this video is out, that DIY will already be posted. Also, I have the plans for the next ear design that I want to do. I have had this waffle print fabric sitting around here for literally forever. I had ordered this maybe like a year ago as another option for bow fabric for ice cream sundae ears, but I just didn't like how it looked. So I was thinking, why don't I just finally go ahead and make just like plain waffle ears? I was able to find some like simulation, like maple syrup, so that'll hopefully be arriving here in about a week or 2. I might make them like limited edition ears to just try and use up this fabric, but if people like them, I can obviously order more and add that to the shop. But pretty much like my favorite thing about doing this is like creating new things and coming up with new designs. So that's why I always get really excited whenever I have like a new fun project. But there is still work to be done with the ear orders, mainly now all of those beignets. If I get to sewing any of those today, that'll be great, but then otherwise I see a lot of beignets in the future for my weekend. Oh, I just finished up my designer ears and I'm so obsessed with them. It took forever to get that bow the right shape, and I just kind of like messed up painting it. So it's a little off from the real thing, but overall these look so cute. Now that I finished that fun little side project, we will get back to the rest of the ear orders. Yesterday, I got 3 pairs of ears all finished up, albeit only 2 of them were actual ear orders. So the chocolate Rice Krispies are now officially added to the pile of done ears, and we are prepped and ready and energized this morning to take on sewing all of those beignets together. That's kind of like the task that needs to get done right now, so let's just get on to that time lapse and see how many beignets I can get sewn in one sitting. So satisfying. 24 individual beignets, all sewn and stuffed. You can see I couldn't even fit them all on one shelf here. And although that ear looks like a beignet from the front, it is in fact the final Rice Krispie ear. So this was a big task getting these all to this stage, but the bases of these all have to be sewn up, then they have to be sewn onto the headbands. Then they get a Mod Podge and fabric paint coating for a sealant and a color, because as you can tell, they're a little blonde for beignets. Then that has to dry, and then after that, they can either get the powdered sugar or the chocolate and sprinkles. It's a little bit later in the afternoon now, so I'll probably focus on getting a bit more of those sewn up. And then I will probably save resining up those 6 lollipop ears for tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'll also decorate that final straggling Rice Krispie treat. It's the late morning / very early afternoon, and I've already made some pretty good progress on ears today. I just finished getting resin on all 6 pairs of the lollipop ears. Those now I just have to carefully monitor for a while and flip them so I don't get any resin nips, as I call them. But then once those stabilize, they will just have to sit and cure for the rest of the day and still probably overnight. And then those just need some clear bead gems added around the base. So that is excellent that we have another 6 pairs of ears that are almost already and finished up. Last night I got about a third of the beignets themselves just sewn up. So all these guys on the top shelf, I still have to sew the bases together. And then they all have to get sewn onto the headbands. So that's what I'm gonna be working on for pretty much the rest of the day. And so even though I started this video Sunday of last week, this video is going to be a bit more than a week in the life. It's going to be closer to 2 weeks in the life, since we are pretty close to the end, and I'm just going to include all of the finishing up in this video. So I'll probably check back in once I get some more of the beignets sewn up. There we go. What a beautiful, satisfying sight to have all of these beignet ears fully sewn and assembled. The one thing is I could almost fit all of them on one row except for one, so it's a little less satisfying having this lone straggler. But this now means we are fully in the home stretch for all the ears. So then these guys just have to go through their colored sealant glaze, and then they get their powdered sugar or chocolate and sprinkles on it. I do still have the donut Rice Krispie ear in progress. I finally did the fabric paint base for the front. It's still a little bit wet, so I can't quite do the decoration yet. But then all of the lollipop ears, they'll be finishing curing still for the rest of the day. And then I have these beads to glue on. Since all this work is pretty painting involved and a little bit messy, I probably won't get anything else done today, and we'll save the rest for tomorrow. I was able to add a few more ears to my done rack because this morning I added the clear beads onto the 6 lollipop ears, and then I also finally decorated the donut Rice Krispie ear. So that is now 7 more ears that are all finished up. And it means that only the beignets are left. Ideally, this early evening, I'll be able to add the first kind of base paint coat onto the beignets. I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of them, but hopefully I can at least get started. But what would be good for me to do tonight is actually start cutting out fabric for the bows. I luckily have about 6 bows that were pre-made because they were other fabric options that I had to make to be able to take a photo. But it'll be a multi-day process to get all of that fabric cut out and then actually assembled. So that'll be really good if I can get a head start on that tonight. Did I get any bows cut or made last night? No. Instead, I decided I wanted to finish editing my latest DIY Disney Parks Designer Ears video. That way I don't have to worry about that all today, and that'll be set for a Wednesday upload, although all of this is already in the past by the time this video is coming out. I really like making the DIYs, but DIY videos are so time consuming to film and edit. Like, so much time goes into them, and whenever I upload them, they're always my least popular uploads. YouTube tells you when you upload a new video how it ranks among your 9 other most recently uploaded videos, and whenever I put out a new DIY video, it always ranks 10 out of 10, and YouTube's like, this video isn't very popular. But then over time, they start to accumulate actually a pretty decent amount of views. I think my DIY Christmas donut video is like close to 16,000 views now. So whenever I first put out a DIY video, I'm always like, it didn't really do too good in views, and I put so much time into it, but over time, they eventually do reach a much wider audience. And still, my primary joy is in creating the actual thing. So even though having to film all of a DIY is pretty tedious, I love the process of creation. So that means this evening I really need to try and get some of those beignets coated. And then later tonight I really should work on starting to cut out bow fabric. How much earwork will get done today? Who knows? We'll see later. You know how I was lamenting in the previous clip how when I upload a DIY video, they always kind of like initially tank in terms of views? Well, earlier this morning, I published my latest DIY designer ear video and it did so well! After the first hour, it was ranked number 1 out of 10. So that just really makes me happy because like I said, those videos are so time consuming to make and edit. So it just kind of makes it feel like the effort is actually worth it. But in terms of my actual ear order status, last night I finally got to getting the base coat on all of the beignets. And then this morning for the 3 chocolate sprinkle beignets, I got those all decorated. So I now have 3 more beignet ears that are totally finished. That just leaves 9 ears left. 8 of them are classic beignets and 1 of them is a candy cane beignet. So those will be finished today. I'm saying that very firmly because I want to make sure it happens. So either a bit after lunch and kind of early evening, I'll get the powdered sugar on those guys. Ideally, I'll be able to finish that by the early evening so that tonight I can finally get to work on cutting out bows. But I at least for sure want to get all of the beignets done because that will mean all 46 pairs of ears will be completed. Isn't this just such a beautiful sight? All of the other beignets are finished up, albeit the candy cane beignet is still wet and drying. But with this, that means we have finished all of the ears. So I have this main little rack tray, which has the vast majority of all of the finished ears. And I can't believe we made it through 46 pairs of ears, 47 counting the pair I DIY'd. And I even got a pretty decent chunk of bow fabric cut out tonight. So we are on excellent track to actually getting everything fully finished up. But it is the late evening and bedtime now, so that's the end of all of the work for today. The other thing that I thought of today is that I decided I really want to make Mickey premium ice cream bar ears. I know that those have kind of been done a lot and Disney has their own sort of version of that. But I've thought of what I want to do and I think they're going to turn out super cool. I have fabric on hand that I think will work for the ears themselves, but I do need to order fabric for the bow. So I'll probably poke around online a little bit tomorrow to see what kind of good fabric I can find. But I think those will be a fun little addition. And then there is still also the batch of waffle ears that I want to make. So I'm definitely already planning to have more of a gap in between when I finish this set of orders and when I reopen up my shop. That way I can hopefully come up with some new ear designs. And then also there's kind of a lot of recipe preparation I need to do, like making a whole bunch of sprinkles and chocolate chips and tie-dyeing shave ice fabric. But we're first going to power through finishing all of these orders. They need the bows on them, they need my label tags, and anybody that ordered teeth needs the teeth added to them. And then finally it'll be one very big, long packing bonanza. But that's all the ear-related stuff for tonight. I didn't film anything yesterday, but I did make some good progress last night because if you can kind of see there, I have a full cart of fully finished ears. I think in total I have 25 ears here that are all done and ready, minus having added my custom tags and adding teeth if it's been requested. So last night I actually assembled the bows I had cut out the previous night and then glued them on all to the ears. Then this morning I did some bow embellishments. So for example, these ice cream sundae ears, they get a little cherry on them. So we did all the cherries this morning. And then I also made these 2 little peppermint candies. These go on some of the Christmas ears. I'm on my front-facing camera, so it's not really going to focus good for detail, but I actually hand paint these and then coat them in a glaze. And this little batch actually turned out looking really nice. That then means that there are 21 more bows that I need to make to put on all of the remaining ears. I'm not sure if we're going to do a movie night tonight or tomorrow, but if we're just going to keep it a casual Friday, I probably will get all of the bow fabric cut for the remaining ears. So then for this weekend, pretty much all of the ears will be done. We'll have the last finishing touches, and then there'll probably be a gnarly montage of trying to get all these ears packed up. And then also this morning, because I'm so excited by new projects, I sewed together my little prototypes for my Mickey Premium ice cream bar ears. I ordered the fabric that I need for the headband yesterday, and then also a potential bow fabric. So like the ears themselves are ready, but I cannot assemble them yet. Hopefully that fabric will be in next week, and then we'll have a new design we get to add. Also, amazingly good news, I think that there is a way for me to get my powdered sugar from Japan. Melody, who has a YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description, she lives in Canada, and she contacted me that she'd be able to have the items sent to her and then she'd send them to me. So it's like only the US that Japan Post cut off all shipments to, but shipping to Canada is totally fine. So I was able to put in the order for the powdered sugar. So that was so awesome that was able to work out. So I'm just gonna do a pretty little pan over of all of the ears that I've already completed, and then we'll check back in sometime later tonight or tomorrow. I spent all of last night measuring, cutting, and assembling the 21 remaining bows, and then this morning I glued them all onto the ears, so we now have 46 pairs of ears that are all done and assembled. I just now assembled all the ears kind of in a flat lay for my Instagram, and they literally took up pretty much the entirety of the bed. So this was a lot of ears to do. I've separated the ears out into two different carts. This cart here I need to add rubber teeth onto. So I've gotten these on Etsy. They're just little individual rubber teeth, and then I put two of these on the inside of the headband. Super soft and comfortable, but I really like them because they just add a nice bit of added grip. And then on all of the ears, I need to add my little confection ear shop labels. The one problem is I know I don't have enough of those for all of these ears, because there was unfortunately a very large chunk of the batch of labels that were like misprinted. So I will probably have to make a few of my own labels, which I think I'll probably do with some iron-on transfer paper. The order that I had placed for new labels, which I think was like around April 20th, still hasn't even shipped yet, but that order was for 1,000 labels, so when that does arrive, I will be very good for a very long time. Then on all of the ears, I have little business cards. I hole punch those and then use some yarn to tie them onto the ears as kind of like another tag. Then I need to print out all of the Etsy invoices, which has the full order information. On all of those, I handwrite thank you for your order note, and then I use those as the packing slips. That's how I make sure I absolutely have the correct ears going to the correct person. But I might have to save the actual packing of all of the ears for tomorrow. The mid-afternoon right now, we had to bring in one of our cats to the vet, and they're currently there having some tests run. So that already took a decent chunk of the day, and then we have to go back later today. So I'm at least hoping to have everything prepped for the ears, and then I can kind of hopefully get them all in their boxes and taped up and labeled up tomorrow. But here's just an overview of all of the ears stacked up in the carts. Ignore all of the bow fabric in the background that I didn't put away from last night. These carts were absolutely perfect. I'm so happy I got them, since they hold all these ears perfectly and are making this process a lot easier. We've made it back around to Sunday again, so this part 3 video has kind of encompassed a full 2 weeks in the life. And that means it's been about 4 weeks since I've had my ear opening. And I now have everything ready to finally package up and ship out all 46 pairs of ears. Yesterday, I got all the tags and the teeth added on the ears. It actually even worked out making my own labels for the few that needed them. I got all my packing slips / invoices printed out, and then I handwrite on all these "thank you for your purchase," and then try and cover the actual information. These slips have what the ear order is and all the specifics to it, so I use these to make sure I have absolutely everything correct with our order going to the right person. Then for each order, I have my little tags, which I attach onto the ears. These are my little business cards. And then the lollipop ears get a little notice tag just saying that they are more fragile than conventional ears because they aren't made out of fabric, so just like don't totally crush them in a suitcase. I'm going to start off by putting together a whole bunch of these boxes. These are the boxes that I use to ship just single ear orders. Pretty much all of my boxes, I get them either on Amazon or Staples. It's kind of whatever I can find the cheapest. So let's get started on these mountain of boxes that we have to put together. I have 20 pairs of ears now, all packaged up. On each box, I write the person's name, so this set of ears is going to LEC. That way I don't have any shipping errors. Now with these boxes, I obviously still have to tape them all closed. And then I still have all of these ears that need to be packaged up. So these are either ears, like a single order that needs to fit in a larger box, or a lot of these were orders of multiple ears. I have one order that is 8 ears total, which is insane and awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these packaged up, and then we'll be able to move on to the shipping labels. 32 boxes, all packed with a total of 46 pairs of ears. I have the labels on them all, but I turned over the ones on top so that I don't show any addresses. So I got all of the larger boxes packed up. I also make sure to weigh all the boxes on a kitchen scale just to be sure everything is going to be totally okay with the label weight. I just print out the labels on label paper, cut those out and stick them on, and then now we have a lot of boxes all set and ready. I also don't know if I explained that I obviously am not in my office right now. This is the guest bedroom, which has kind of become my whole shipping center. As I've had more and more orders, I need more and more space, and I've kind of ended up storing all my boxes and shipping stuff in here. But all of my orders are now officially done, ready to head out to their new homes. Typically with my orders, I will just drop them off at the post office, but for my last batch of orders and for these guys, I'm doing a USPS pickup at home. That's obviously a lot easier to do just kind of given the current situation, and also I can do that because I now have to work from home all the time. And Etsy now has just integrated an actual little thing where directly when you've completed your orders, you can request a USPS pickup. So all of these boxes will be getting picked up tomorrow. I'm probably gonna need a day or so to decompress because this was many hours of packing everything up. But as I said, I am not going to be reopening my shop right away. I should have coming in this week remaining fabric that I need for the Mickey premium bar ears that I want to add. I'll probably get started on the waffle ears, even though I don't think my little maple syrup is gonna arrive for a while since that's shipping from overseas. But then, like I've said, I need to dye shave ice fabric, I need to make a whole bunch of sprinkles, I need to make pieces of chocolate chips. So there's a decent amount of preparation that I want to get before I open up for new orders. And plus, I don't want to open for new orders until I can add my new items offered. But then that officially brings it to the end of this part 3 and the end of this whole Week in the Life series. Hopefully this was interesting to see kind of the full process in these 4 weeks, from opening my shop and taking all these orders to going through all of the preparation and making the ears and getting everything finished and packaged up. Hopefully this also gives you a good idea of just how much work goes into every item. So every time you purchase an item from a small shop, it is lovingly, fully handcrafted. If you're interested in following along with my ear shop journey, you can find me on Instagram at confectioneershop. I haven't been super active on Instagram stories there since I've been filming this, but typically I'm quite active on the stories and do kind of like the behind the scenes and showing what I'm working on. So you can feel free to check me out there. But thanks for watching!